Hello students, I welcome you once again to the e-learning sessions of Automobile Engineering. Myself Hardik Shah, and during this lecture series, we will discuss some interesting topics in the subject of automotive, electricals and electronics. Okay, we have already started a new chapter, that is injection systems. Okay, and we have also discussed about the basic injection systems in previous video. So today we will discuss about the EFI, that is electronic fuel injection. Okay, I hope you will see this video till the end to completely understand this topic and gain your skills in this subject. Okay, so I hope you I also request you to note down any queries which arises during the lecture and ask it in comment section. I will try to solve all the queries as soon as possible. So now let's start our today's video. So the objective of the electronic fuel injection system is to regulate and optimize the fuel air ratio that enters the vehicle's engine. Okay, now fuel injection has recently become the main fuel delivery system which is used in the automotive petrol engines also. Okay, not in diesel, even in petrol engines also. So we will discuss about the architecture of the electronic fuel injection, its types, how it works, its application, advantages and disadvantages in this system, in this video. Okay, so let's start this. So first let's see the architecture of the electronic fuel injection systems. So components of the electronic fuel injection systems includes sensors, electronic control unit, that is ECU, check engine light, or you can say service engine soon light. Okay, thereafter fuel injectors and fuel pump. Now sensors, so let's discuss all things one by one. First is sensors. Sensors are actually installed in a numerous points of the engine and their function is to send the information to the ECU. Now the following sensors are actually used inside the engine. First is engine temperature sensor, okay, which will sense the temperature. Second is intake temperature sensors, which is inside the intake manifold. Thereafter exhaust temperature sensor, which is in the exhaust manifold. Thereafter engine speed sensor, which is actually called which is actually mounted near the crankshaft. Okay, thereafter throttle position sensor, which is nearby the accelerator. Thereafter probe, which is responsible for the measurement of the fuel concentration in the fuel mixture. Okay, or you can say air fuel ratio mixture. Second is actuators. What is actuators? So actually it is come with the sensors. Okay, sensors and actuators. So they are the components that obtain the information from the ECU and they act in the feeding system, varying the volume of the fuel that the engine receives. So they are engine is using following actuators. First is fuel injector, second is spark plug, third one is throttle. Okay, so these three are the actuators. Second is electronic control unit. What is that? So ECU is responsible for the measurement of the sensors and estimation of the action for which the actuator with regard to timing restrictions. Okay, now the block diagram of the fuel injection system is actually shown here for your reference. So the time constraint of the system are imposed by the characteristics of the internal combustion engines. Okay, to be controlled, now it is defined that a turn of a engine, that is 360 degree, is a completed once in every 5 microseconds for the 12,000 RPM. Okay, you can just think of it. So the actuator of the throttle valve considered the position of the 0 degree as a pulse of 1 millisecond and 90 degree as a pulse of 2 milliseconds within the period of the 25 milliseconds. Okay, now considering this timing constraint, the reading of the sensors and the calculation of the acting time for the actuators should be processed in at most the 15 milliseconds. Okay, so this was about this. Next is check engine light, or you can say service engine soon light. So what is the function of this and how it is required in EFI? So the check engine light, or you can say service engine soon light, which is on a dashboard on the console, comes on during the scan and goes off when all the sensors are actually functionally perfectly. Okay, so this was about that light, indicator light. Next is fuel injector. So it actually helps in injecting the fuel into the engine's intake port, which is taking the actions from the ECU. Okay. Next is fuel pump. So actually it helps in pumping the gasoline from the vehicle's fuel tank to the engine and distribute the fuel to fuel injection system under the high pressurized conditions. Okay, so let's see how EFI system works. So the fuel injection system consists of the many sensors positioned all around your vehicle, as it is shown here, you can see in the figure. So every time you start your vehicle, the electronic control unit, that is ECU, scans each and every of the sensor to verify their functional is proper or not. Okay, so the check engine light also on a console comes on during the scan, and it goes off when all the sensors are actually functional properly. Okay, so this was the basics of this working of the EFI. Now the sensors continuously detect the values of the numerous parameters like air pressure, air temperature, throttle angle, air density, fuel temperature, fuel pressure, thereafter oil pressure, coolant temperatures, thereafter exhaust gas temperature, thereafter crankshaft angle, timing, engine RPM, engine speed, etc. Okay, so all this data are actually processed through the ECU to establish the amount of time for the fuel injector are open, injecting the fuel into your engine's intake port. Okay, so these things will actually create the injection inside the engine. Now the injectors usually are open only for the few milliseconds at the time. So a fuel injector consists of the nozzle and the valve. Okay, now the power to the injector, the fuel comes from the fuel pump, or you can say pressure container located far back into the fuel supply. Now the fuel going through the system is actually atomized by forcefully pumping it through the small hole, or you can say nozzle, under the very high pressurized condition. So that is the working of actually electronic fuel injector. Okay, so this was about the electronic fuel injection. Let's see its applications of the electronic fuel injection system. So the application includes, first is EFI system incorporates the state-of-art control software routine for the emission, fuel consumption, fuel economy and the performance demands. Okay, so it will actually increase the fuel economy also. Second, the system also incorporate the technology of smart ignition for the controlling of the ignition system, ignition timing, by providing the flexibility to achieve the best in class fuel consumptions. Okay, so this was the basic application of the EFI. Next is advantages of the electronic fuel injection system. So the advantages are actually like this. In a fuel injection system, it actually enhances the volumetric efficiency of the engine because it is metering the fuel perfectly. Thereafter, direct fuel injection into the cylinder eliminates the manifold wetting, so extra fuel will not be trapped there. Thereafter, good atomization of the fuel even at the low speed, as the atomization is independent of the cranking speed. Okay. Thereafter, less knocking because of the improved atomization and vaporization. Okay. Thereafter, ice formation at the throttle plate is actually also eliminated due to the perfect metering of the fuel. Okay, and there is no unburnt fuel. Thereafter, fuel of the low volatility can also be used as a distribution is independent of vaporization. Okay, so you can use any of the fuels. Thereafter, as a variation of the fuel air ratio is almost negligible, it results in a good engine performance. Fine. Thereafter, the height of the engine can be less as the position of the injector units is not that much critical. So this was all about the advantages of this EFI system. Let's see the disadvantages of the electronic fuel injection systems. So what are the disadvantages? First is high maintenance cost because it is very costly. Second, difficulty in servicing because it requires perfect knowledge and skills. And third one, possibility of the malfunction of some sensors because all the sensors are connected with the ECU and operated is singly over there. Okay, so that's it in this chapter. I wish you got the clear idea about this. Therefore, if you have any more to know or any have a specific query, please let me know. I will try to solve all the queries as soon as possible. Fine. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. Goodbye.